Okay, if you've never been here, this is called Piggy's Cove. It's a place in Nova Scotia, a very big tourist attraction. But this isn't why we're here. We're going to talk about the Gamer article that came out saying you need to trust video game reviewers. Yes, video game reviewers, you got to trust them apparently, because it takes 100 hours to complete a video game nowadays. That you can't go online and look at Metacritic and look at the many, many people that review a game or leave a review on Steam because in the journalist world they would say that's review bombing if things are bad and they like it. It's the same video game journalists that like to tell us how identity politics needs to be in video games. I'm holding the mic close so you don't get too much of the wind at my back. As you can see, the waters are pretty choppy. This isn't as bad as they do get. Tide is low right now, but when tide gets high, that's where the video game reviews of video games in particular do get really choppy. And when you have a negative game, you have a positive game. I think it's right now the Elden Ring DLC was mixed reviews last I checked because it was too hard. And the ongoing joke is video game journalism mode is what's needed because a lot of them get these games in pre-access. They get a week. They got to play through about 100 hours of a video game to put up an article. Then the article probably nets them $10 to $20. It's not that much when you come down to a video game review, and that's probably why we see a lot more disparaging and off the cuff takes. Why we see a lot of video games just not being up to snuff, where they pick apart a checklist of items instead of actually playing the game. That's why it's become a meme and a joke when you see some of these video game reviews, like we see with Kotaku out there or Polygon. The Gamers had a bunch of good ones, and many other video game review sites. Instead of them making guides for a game, they sit there and they pick apart certain things that they don't like and then tell the developers, because they didn't put in a certain something into the game, it wasn't diverse enough or it wasn't inclusive enough, even though the game is there for anybody to play. And then the storylines just are their own sort of scenario. Let's take a walk. Because I'm out here quite a bit, there's lots of tourists around, so it makes it a little bit harder to film a video. And I'm climbing rocks. It's not exactly the easiest thing in the world. As you can see, the background, once again, absolutely amazing. Apparently, I got Wolverine hair today. That's what happens when you get into the ocean air. It starts to do strange things with your hair. Now, when it comes to a video game review, I've tried to do a few in the past. Generally, the ones that I have done, they're up on Steam. When it comes down to a video game review, stuff like Ori and the Blind Forest comes to mind because that was it's one of my all-time favorite games. In the newer age, of course. It's not one of my favorite games, but it is one of them out there. And it's because it was different. You don't have a game that's sitting there trying to tell you you're being bad for not accepting the game, for not playing the game, for not buying the game, for not buying the movie. And that's where we are today. Video game reviewers, the journalists, or so-called journalists, why we joke about them so much is they inject any little self-personality into it. And this goes back to my previous videos where they're making these games and they're making them for the journalists when in fact they should be making them for the gamer, for the people that sit there and fall in love with these things. I don't fall in love with the game because a reviewer says it's great. I fall in love with the game because I play it. So instead of reading a review, go pick up a game, play a bunch of it, and then if you need help, there's nothing wrong with finding a guide that probably someone has put together much better than any video game review journalist out there that's getting early access to these games and maybe making $20 on an article. That's the problem with a lot of them. They don't pay enough. It doesn't pay nearly as much. It's like me out here on YouTube. I can't do this full time. If I did this full time, I would be broke. My family would be on the streets, and I wouldn't see things like this. Now, out here at Piggy's Cove, I got to say there's one thing that's really annoying me, and that's because there's a new DJ. They have a DJ out here in the middle of Piggy's Cove by the lighthouse where everyone's going. So if I want to videotape some things, I got to get that DJ sound in the background, which sucks because now that's copyrighted. Piggy's Cove is a pretty amazing place. Lots of rocks. You can see them for miles out here, and it's a coastline. People have died here. A lot of people have gone off the side of the cliffs here, and usually at higher tides. Right now the tide is really low, so you're not seeing a lot of the splashes, but these waves get super high. Where I'm standing right now, I don't think the water gets quite this high, but it does get below. You can see some pockets of water around me. That's where the water goes. It washes over all of these rocks, especially in super high tide, closer to the full moon. But yeah, this is Piggy's Cove. Absolutely amazing place. Yeah, so this is the DJ. Really annoying that there's a DJ out here because, of course, that means copyrighted music. But I have it on noise canceling, so hopefully I don't hear him too much, which is too bad. Get behind this rock because he's in an all-electric vehicle sitting up here generating his own power. I don't know why that is. Anyway, there's a lighthouse up here. We'll do a quick run through here because we got to get going. It's late in the day. New viewing platform up there is whatever. It's a nice spot for people to go check it out if they don't want to go down on the rocks. So the whole deal with the journalist article, they're saying they're not here to criticize you and just to go for the game and all this other stuff, and that you need to trust them more. You need to trust the game journalists. That's not the whole purpose here. It's the fact that the game journalists are the ones that vote on the game awards. They're the ones that pat each other on the back. They're the ones that are creating this industry right now that nobody wants. People want honest journalism from these game journalists and reviewers, and that's the problem. They sit there and they say, oh, it's missing this because they didn't inject their own self-interest into the video game. That's been the problem, and that's why a lot of people just don't trust them. That's why they don't want to listen to them at all. And they, like myself, I'd rather go to Metacritic or IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes when it comes to movies, just to get an idea. And I look at all what everyone's saying about it, even if the critics are sitting there giving it the top scores ever. No movie, no video game should be a perfect 100% rating when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes. There should be a little bit less than that. But when it comes to video games, we don't see that. Sites like Steam where the gamers get to actually control what's going on. But once again, the journalists will sit there and cry. It's being review bombed. It's not being review bombed. It's honest criticism in a lot of cases, especially when reviews get removed, call people names or do things that just isn't legal, threats. It's absolutely pathetic at this point to see that now game journalists, especially like the gamers, saying, oh, we're doing this for your best interest. We're not out to get you. No, they're not out to get us, but they're out there to change and shape the narrative of the future of video games, movies, TV shows, and the such. And that's why a lot of people don't want to listen to them. Anyway, I'm your Proud Canadian Phoenix Center Shadow. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of the shots of Peggy's Cove. Fortunately, I had to do a little bit of voiceover, but whatever. That is the case of things. That's what happens when you have to deal with a DJ in the middle of Peggy's Cove. I'm kind of not too happy about that, and I'm hoping things in the future will be a lot more peaceful. Apparently they got rid of the bagpipe guy, though, because that wasn't Nova Scotia at all. They'd rather have a DJ in the middle of this beautiful landscape. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great day.